to a super exciting edition of Inside Media Weekly. I'm Ryan Boni. Kevin Bastos is here.
I'm here.
Congratulations for making it.
You're welcome.
All the way next
You're
door.
welcome. Hey, listen, I missed last week, right? Was it last week I missed?
Was it?
Yeah, because I went to the bank. Because there was a reminder that was sent
Somebody,
12 seconds before the producer
messed up. I don't know.
Well, thank goodness you sent out an early reminder this week because I was right here on time.
Awesome.
No problem.
And Justin Pinto
Oh,
is not here. Oh, he's en route.
Here he is.
He's coming.
Here he is.
He's on his way. We may have to have.
I sent a message, and here's the message. It says, "Coming."
He's on his way.
So,
well, while we're waiting for Mr. Pinto, let's check in this. What happened to the sea otters?
Sea otters.
They're frozen.
This may be our greatest show ever. Right here.
I don't know what happened to the sea otters.
Frozen sea otters. Late Pinto. I'm just grateful for the announcement that came early so I can remember.
There's some issues with the sea otters, apparently. I don't know.
Hold on, let me shake it.
F5. It doesn't work.
Hit the F5.
Here he comes, ladies and gentlemen.
Hey.
Justin Pinto has arrived.
Only 12 minutes late.
Here.
Children, every child who turns in this television show to Mr. Pinto,
be careful.
He stepped all over things. He's spilling
But
coffee.
look, he's Justin Pinto with his teacher appreciation mug. Look at that.
Wow.
Well played.
That's why he's late, because he was picking up his mug.
Well, we were out of styrofoam cups this morning, and Christian came to the rescue.
Hand delivery?
Hand delivery. Ready to go. I feel like this is low.
It could be. It
well,
might
when
be
you
broken
get here
too.
late,
We don't know.
sometimes
it's all good.
Things are a little...
We're having some sea otter issues.
Sea otter issues, arrival issues.
They seem to have frozen. I'm not sure what's going on.
I'm not going to be here tomorrow morning for doctor's appointment, so I'm also not going to be here this afternoon, track meet. So getting ready for everything is not quite...
First priority. Inside Media
Weekly.
Always.
And so this little movie's come out. It's earned $1 billion in 11 days worldwide. I'm sorry. Well, yes. 11 days. $450 million domestically in 9 days. $1 billion worldwide. Record 11 days.
I think that's what's called a hit.
So there may be another movie after this, is what we're saying. So
wait, before we go there,
part 2.
Oh yes, we're fully going to spoil this movie,
yes.
right? We're not
spoilers.
So those of you tuning in who've not yet seen this,
thank goodness we're not live.
More than 11 days.
We're spoiling it.
Okay.
You just made it in, Boni, right?
I did. I just saw it last night. So me and 2 other people have added to the $1 billion.
I have a prediction.
About the movie?
About Boni's.
Oh, my response
to the movie.
Actually, before we even get to the movie,
okay, go.
Let's talk the trailers. I assume. I saw it double-digit days after it came out, and I'm assuming I saw the same 5 trailers that you guys probably saw.
I would imagine.
4 of the biggest movies coming out this summer, and one that is coming out this summer but isn't going to be. I'm thinking.
I don't even remember what I saw.
I'm thinking Venom is not going to do super well, but maybe it will. Maybe it'll be surprisingly good.
Oh, it'll probably make like $200 million or $100 million or something just because people will go see it.
It's way cheaper.
So
versus 57 people.
Mission Impossible, Fallen Kingdom, Jurassic World, Fallen Kingdom, Deadpool 2.
Venom, Fallen Kingdom.
Fallen Kingdom. I feel like they were all called Fallen Kingdom. I don't know. The Mission Impossible, I think they all are fun other than number 2 that I hate.
What?
The Jurassic World. Didn't we do
Ang
this?
Lee's great success with that, didn't he go right over to the first Incredible Hulk film?
I think so. I think you're right.
Was Mission Impossible 2 Ang Lee or was it John Woo?
Oh, John Woo.
Sorry.
Good call.
Yes.
Good call.
Right?
Yes.
And Jurassic World, didn't we already do this? We're going to take the DNA of Blue. We're going to make this super angry dinosaur, and what a mistake. And
it's just like Harry Potter. The plot of every Harry Potter movie.
This was Jurassic World 2, right?
You have to start with the end. The end of every Harry Potter film is always like, oh my gosh, Dumbledore's back. And then the beginning of the next film is like,
you're not Dumbledore.
It's crazy. I'm not
Voldemort.
Oh my gosh, Voldemort's back. And then the next film it starts, no, they're crazy who thinks Voldemort's back. And then all through the film you get to point out, oh my gosh, Voldemort's really back. And then the next film starts, no, he's not back. That's crazy. So, same. It's the same. Oh my gosh, we can't control dinosaurs. The next movie, we found it out. We can control dinosaurs. Surprise!
If they would just listen to Jeff Goldblum, they would have no
Jeff
problem.
didn't show up till movie, halfway through the first movie, right?
Something like that.
I don't know if it's halfway, but he's on the island.
And then came back in the second one, and then for 3 movies, he was like, I'm out of here, and now
he's back again.
Welcome back.
They gave him some extra cash. Deadpool 2, I got to be
Is his
honest.
daughter back in this one?
I don't think so.
Deadpool 2, I'm not sure how I feel about the trailer.
More excited about Deadpool 2 than
Okay.
Avengers.
Okay. I do love. I don't know. The
I do love. I don't
Parts of
know as
the-
well.
there are parts of the trailer that are hysterically funny.
Oh.
And especially the end where what's the guy's name? Jeff or whatever. They're like, "What
I
powers do you
saw the
have?" I
ad.
just saw the ad, and then they have him flying off, and it's great. Great ending.
The Red Man trailer is very funny.
Okay.
Very funny. And that's where it's going to be successful.
And then Solo.
I can't believe Solo comes out so soon.
Deadpool 2.
I'm getting
Next
a
week,
little more
Deadpool 2.
optimistic about Solo, so I'm gonna, but I don't want to get my hopes up too high because I don't know.
That's when
I think everybody feels that Donald Glover is going to be amazing as Lando Calrissian, so it's just
which means
really,
it's going to probably be like, oh, that was not as
Whether
good
or
as I
not-
thought it was going to be.
whether or not Aaron Reich is going to pull it off as Han Solo. We'll
So
see.
far, not feeling it.
So of all those, you have a prediction on most successful or best?
I can tell you what I'm looking forward to the most.
Deadpool 2.
That's correct.
I think Jurassic World will make the most money
Okay.
Probably.
of those movies.
Although Solo's already got the what is it, the second highest pre-sale? Like how it's pre-sales.
Yeah, but pre-sales aren't where I mean they'll tell you you'll make a lot of money, but it's not going to tell you what's going to be a super success because I mean, how many people going to Jurassic World? They're not buying pre-ticket. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not going to go see Jurassic World on Thursday, but I will. I bought a pre-sale ticket to Solo, and I know I might not even get to use it.
Yeah.
They were buying tickets, and I said, well, I might be at Track and Field States, so it's going to be tough for me to see a movie in Pittsburgh if I'm in Shippensburg. But buy me a ticket in case I am here. I want to go see it that day. I will be mad if I'm here and don't have a ticket. So I might have just given them $14 for no reason. It's a nice guy.
I think Mission Impossible is going to be fun.
It will not make the most money.
It will not make the
It
most.
might make the lowest money.
Well, Venom.
I think it'll be
Venom might make. You think Venom's
That's
going to
a
do well?
toss-up.
Oh, I think Venom will make
Okay.
more money than
Okay.
Mission Impossible. What is
Because
this?
obviously it's not going to be. Of course, Deadpool's not family friendly either.
No. Made a boatload of money first time around.
Yeah. And then I was reading Wesley Snipes is ready to come back as Blade anytime they want to bring him back. Obviously,
nice.
he wasn't paying his taxes there for a while, so maybe
Go record that movie
he
in
needs-
jail or, you know,
But he said he'll play any character. In
Roman
the Marvel,
Polanski directing it, maybe. Too soon, maybe.
So how do you want to attack? You see what I did there? Attack Avengers Infinity War. Do we?
I think the first thing is Boni's.
Do you want
likability
Do you
of
want
the
to do
film?
overall and then the good pros and
I'm gonna
cons?
say you were feeling meh about it.
Okay, so there
Nailed it.
There are. I could go
It's
through
no
my.
Revenge of the Sith.
I have. Well, no.
But what is?
I would say most films.
I enjoyed lots of parts of it. I felt like we were just a couple tweaks away from being incredible. It was.
Get what you did there?
Incredibles?
No, being incredible like the Hulk.
Like the whole.
A couple tweaks away.
Yeah,
from-
yeah.
There you,
I didn't get it.
oh, I don't get it.
So I don't know. I enjoyed a large portion of it. I know I didn't get the enjoyment of it that a super fan would because one of the biggest problems for me was expectations.
Who are all these people?
Well, and I tried to read up a good bit beforehand, which I spoiled a lot of the stuff, but I don't really care about if I know some of the stuff going in. But some of the reviews were talking about this is wall-to-wall action, this is exciting, and I felt like the first hour is pretty slow, which is disappointing after 19 films that we couldn't get all the exposition out of the way, that we still did slow. But I'm sure for a fan, seeing certain characters in scenes together, like, this is amazing. Whereas I was kind of like, okay, yeah, let's move on and get to the action. Because it felt like the first hour was a lot of that. Was, oh, wow, we're combining this group of characters with.
Yeah, we got Tony with Doctor Strange, Spider-Man. We've got Cap with Wakanda, Black Panther, Bucky, getting the band back together.
And, well, so I wanted to hear your opinions first, and then I have
I really
litany of
liked
things.
it.
Okay.
I probably liked it better than the first Avengers movie, which is, I think, that line of very good movie. I probably even liked it better than Iron Man. I don't know if I liked it the most out of any Marvel Cinematic Universe movie I've seen, but I liked it a lot. I thought it was well put together. I thought it was action-filled. I really liked Thanos in it. And Thanos' character, I don't like very much. I thought bringing him to screen, they did a good job.
Really good in the. I mean, he's never really been great.
No, he just comes in and like, now I'm in control of everything, and they've got to find some way to get out of it. And I felt like they did a good job of
at least building his character up a little bit. Like I thought they did it is really mostly Thanos. The movie is mostly about him. Which we met him. When did we see him for the very first time? When is he floating on that asteroid throne?
When he turns over his shoulder. Oh gosh,
that was like that was like the cut. That was that after credit scene of a
movie. Mid-credit scene.
Yeah, it was like so. I mean, it feels like a million years ago, which could only be 10. But I feel like my problem is like you were trying to rank it. I haven't watched Iron Man for so long. I remember really liking Iron Man. I remember not liking Iron Man 2. I remember not liking Iron Man 3. But I haven't seen him in forever. The first
Hulk
Avengers
aged well, by the way.
The first Avengers I loved. I really loved the first Avengers, but I have not seen it in probably years. I remember disliking Age of Ultron,
which had a lot of potential.
Yeah, and I mean, I feel like this did a really good job of. I mean, there was a lot of stuff in this movie, and I feel like you could go see it with not. I mean, I haven't seen every movie. Right. I mean, I haven't seen Thor 2 all the way through.
Dark World.
I fell asleep.
That was one of my least favorites.
Watching Ragnarok that one night, trying to. Now I feel like now I'm like, well, now I don't need to know I know what happens now. We started right there. Here we are. But I thought it was really well done. I mean, I really liked it. I feel like there's tons of things I missed and have already forgotten about the movie.
Yes.
I can't believe I was, for a second, thought they would get the gauntlet off his hand at that one point. But
and they did.
It was I can't believe. Well, I mean,
and.
Yeah.
It was wrecked by
Star-Lord.
Right. Getting that little vendetta against him. And
I don't know, he's taken a lot of heat online from people about that. But of all the things that bothered me in the movie, that wasn't...
That was my focal bothering.
Really?
Yeah.
That he was dumb enough.
That moment, that place.
But I always felt like Peter Quill has always been, to me, he's like Indiana Jones. He's always a hair in over his head. And so... the fact that he would be, would lose his mind for a moment there didn't bother me as much as maybe it should have.
Oh, I hated it.
Okay.
Because I think when the chips were down, he always did make the right decision.
Okay.
Like in the smaller things, he was always, a little crazy and kooky or whatever. But chips down, making that decision, that's how he defeated his dad in that last movie and made the right decision there.
Yeah.
I mean, that frustration, anger, whatever, I can't imagine would supersede that moment.
Okay.
I mean, I thought we knew it was going there because you knew it wasn't going to end there. I mean, we knew it was going to happen, so.
Actually, yeah, that part. I was actually surprised. I
going into it, I know you spoiled it for yourself, but were you surprised at the half of people dying?
I kind of knew. I was surprised at how it happened. I thought that they would kind of die throughout. I didn't realize it was all going to be part of the snap at the end, which
there were a couple in the in-betweens. Nebula died in between. Loki died right at the beginning. Gamora died halfway through. Right. Who was the other character at the beginning? Heimdall right at the beginning too. I thought his was more dramatic.
Yeah. So
I just don't know what the second one could be called that would like spoil this for, you know what I mean? Like I just don't know why they can't tell us the title.
Half of us are dead. Avengers.
Is that what it's going to be? I mean,
so let me run down a few of my concerns with the movie, and you tell me where I might be wrong. Or the biggest one, obviously, there were so many characters. I felt like that, and it's tough because we had some standalone movies where you really, like Doctor Strange, you really got to know the character, and then. Because of the way this movie is constructed, he has to kind of become a caricature of himself. And it was really, really obvious when Tony Stark and Star-Lord were in scenes together. It was kind of like, it felt like, or, it's Hulk always has to be bumbling, or, there's just this, or Banner, I guess, is always kind of like, so I felt like, and I knew you weren't going to get a ton of character development, but I felt like that they just kind of became joke notes in some of the movie. So that kind of, it's tough again after spending so much time with them in individual movies to see that happen in this movie.
I don't think there was a lot of change in any character. There wasn't a development, but I think most of that was built up beforehand going into it. I felt like Tony's leaving on the ship was almost exactly what happened with the Avengers before, but I think that's where his character is. I think that's who he is as a person now. And again, with T'Challa, Black Panther, that's established there. Bucky, Winter Soldier, so minor in the film. I kind of wanted more of him, but that's all right. I thought it was very good. I mean, with that, your criticism that characters didn't change?
Well, I felt like they became, after being fully developed characters in some of these other movies, they became almost just, like I said, kind of caricatures of themselves. It's kind of, they always had to act a certain way. I would have just loved to have seen one of the characters surprise us completely by their choice, or something where you're like, what are they doing? And then maybe explain it later or something like that. But it felt like every character kind of did what you expected them to do. And I don't know. And that's just it's a nitpick, I get. But also, another nitpick for me was that the movie felt really strange so much at the beginning of it being in outer space. And I know Guardians obviously is, Thor was flying around the universe, but Iron Man and Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Well, Doctor Strange kind of did the
he can do whatever he wants, really.
But I felt like for these earlier movies that were much more earthbound or planet-bound, even Black Panther being planet-bound or whatever, although I haven't seen it yet, I felt like it felt weird to be in outer space for so long in the beginning of the first half hour of the movie. I just remember thinking that while I was watching it. I wouldn't say that's something that's bothersome to me to the point of... And Thanos, which great villain. All I wanted, there was just, and this is where I'd say one little tweak. I would have loved to have either empathized a little more with Thanos. His quest. They kind of talk about why he's doing it. He's going to, because you could make a moral argument and say that he's really out there trying to protect humanity or the beings by wiping out half of the humanity, then the other half doesn't starve and they can thrive and stuff like that. And he mentions it. We kind of see a tiny little bit of it, but I would have loved to have had, just a moment or two where, as the audience, you're like, I'm on board with what he's doing. He's one or two steps beyond. He's a little crazy, but he's just not. He's. I don't know. I just felt like that he could have. I would have loved that, or to have seen a moment where he. Not feels bad, but questions whether or not he's doing the right thing. I think would have made him just, a little bit of a scarier villain.
I'm gonna throw it to you for a minute because I got a convoluted response.
Okay.
I thought they did a pretty good job, like explaining why he was doing it and so on and so forth. It doesn't explain like why it needs to be done. I feel like he explains his planet, like they were, like what I don't know. Falling apart. The society was falling apart. They didn't have they couldn't feed themselves and so on. So he took it upon himself at his own planet to wipe out half the population, and everybody
else
wanted
to, but he didn't.
I thought
couldn't. That's why his planet was decimated.
So, but it doesn't really say why. I've read articles and so on that at some point we're going to not have enough stuff for us to support ourselves here, but it doesn't seem like that's going on in the MCU currently. I don't think,
But that's what I was saying. Like, I felt like
didn't seem like
really personalized that. And that would have taken this villain who's already great into being one of the greatest villains. Because, in the best of movies, you have the villain's not just doing something to be evil. They truly believe in what they're doing. And he does, but I just felt like as an audience, I didn't get behind him at any moment. I felt like there should have been one or two moments where I'm like...
I understand and disagree at the same time.
Okay.
And let me go into a little bit of that. Like, most of that was established beforehand. And at the end, where he makes that reference to it, and we're standing on the hulk of this graveyard of his planet, and he could have taken it a moment or two more to explain that a little bit better, but that imperative there, and I thought the humanizing moment was him with Gamora. Him really having that real moment there, and then I forget the character's name who said it's not crying, he's crying for you, to have that moment. That was that real level of bond there where he does make that sacrifice, that moment.
The Red Skull?
Yeah, the Red Skull.
On the planet.
Yes. saying, he's not crying for this, he's crying for you, what he has to do. That was that moment where I really connected with him and saying, okay, there's where you've sort of brought me in here. And while I don't necessarily think the story did a good job of bringing me there, it could have done a better job with that moment, like when he first met her as a child and building that bond a little bit better, for those things to happen where the tear forms and that happens, and then gets that stone out of it, really, where he's sacrificing his thing he loved, and the background side of it, where the Red Skull wanted to find that, but ultimately couldn't because didn't love anything. There was no adoration or love there, and finding this level where Thanos did have that, and he had to exterminate it in order to gain that power. So that was where I found that.
Let's talk about the ending.
Okay.
So again, since I had, and one of the main reasons I was reading a lot of stuff ahead of time was I want to make sure I understood some of the characters, because I have, like Pinto, I've not seen a couple of the movies. I probably, out of the 19, I've probably seen 14, 15 of them or whatever, but I knew there might be little things I would miss. I knew there were, when they said Vision, I'm like, who's that? And I go, oh yeah, Paul Bettany.
Wow.
It's good that, and it's good they've made actor choices that are very distinguishable between, so that you can kind of follow mostly of what's going on. But so when I'd heard, a bunch of people were dying or whatever, like I said, I kind of thought it might be a little more spread throughout. So my first thought at the snap was, this is awesome. Marvel's actually going to just wipe out half of their characters.
Zero chance.
And I was like, this is an amazing company that just like, we're putting story first. We don't care about how much money we might, we're going to kill off all these.
They'll make it all back.
Zero chance.
And then my second thought immediately afterwards, I'm going to get cheated out of this moment. I thought they're going to go to some other dimension. They're going to be somewhere else. We're going to bring half these characters back. So I went from great excitement.
Well, the Time Stone you can go back and I mean, because that scene
and they
with the
built
Scarlet,
that already.
Look at the Scarlet Witch takes out Vision. Are we calling her Scarlet Witch?
I'm calling her Scarlet Witch because I
call her
honestly
the whole
think
movie.
this is making it jump the other way anyway. The Time Stone laid that foundation. This can happen. You can bring someone back just by use of the Time Stone.
And the problem is, as comic book readers, I'm sure you guys are used to, this character's dead, we'll bring him back as a
Logan is dead. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on a second.
Or someone else is going to pick up the mask and put it on, and now, this person is
Captain
Spider-Man.
America's dead. Oh, hold on. Wait a minute.
But what they have done in the movies is they've created big problems. But they never create problems that are so big, because the biggest problem in like 90% of events in comic books is they create a problem that is so big, and they spend 8 issues building the problem and then fix it in one.
Right.
You fix it in one problem, and it always is like, well, who's the most powerful mutant can we get? Oh, let's get Scarlet Witch. Let's have her fix this problem. Let's get Hyperion or Sentry. Let's get somebody in here. Okay, now go back to retirement.
Everything goes back to the way it used to be. I think this is not going to be that. I think the characters that survived at the end of the film are going to be dead. I think Captain America, I think Tony Stark is Iron Man. I think those characters that lived at the end, they're gone. I can't imagine they're going to be like, you know what, kill T'Challa. That one movie made $1 gajillion. Now kill him. Tom Hiddleston, really successful Spider-Man movie. You're dead. That's it. Start over.
There's so
but
many
the characters that lived
too,
and now,
have to.
Our contracts up, getting older, moving to a place where ... Get rid of that person. I think what's going to happen is this is going to be a big reverse of time, sort of like what they did in the X-Men movies, where they connect everything back over to the X-Men movies in the next film, bring all of that under one fold universe, and sort of this alternate new timeline developing, where these new characters are still surviving in it, but the old ones remain in that old timeline, and they go.
Right.
I really think that's going to happen, especially all those properties are now purchased under the umbrella, right?
Is X-Men under the umbrella?
Yeah, Fox. Your doubtful ones are Fantastic Four, Blade. There are a couple other
How many Blade crossovers
No,
have there been?
Zero.
How many times has Blade been with
and
the
Spider-Man
Avengers?
is still standalone as Sony, right? But
there's an
They
agreement
can-
that they've brought
they can
in
bring in-
together. It's a part of
which
the
I love the
universe.
fact that because From my understanding, Ant-Man and Wasp and Captain Marvel are both going to be prior to the events, the standalone movies. But Spider-Man is supposed to happen right after this. So they've kind of screwed over Sony to say, your character.
Good luck. He's coming back. There's no way this character is going to.
But so we wiped out almost the entire Guardians of the Galaxy group, right?
Well, that was Groot's son. Did you read that stuff? Did you read those spoilers? Like, that's not really Groot. Groot's gone. This is like Groot's son because it grew from like, and now he's gone. So now we're not sure who we're gonna get. And did you see that? Like was it James Gunn? Is that his name? Gunn, the director of that. Like caused like a meltdown of fans on Twitter and stuff when they said, "What does he say?" Because he always just says "I am Groot," but he always says something.
Oh yeah.
And he said, "What did he say
at
the end?" When he says when he's fading
Raccoon.
away to talk Rocket, and he goes, "Well, he said spoiler, ... Dad." And everybody's like, "I'm crying at my desk. I just read this. I'm an emotional wreck at work now. I don't know what to do. Why was he calling him Dad?" Well, because it wasn't really Groot. It was Groot's son, so he grew up thinking Rocket was his dad because he didn't know any different. And it was just like, he was like, "Sorry, guys, I didn't mean to do that to you while you're at work."
Yeah,
We also lost Doctor Strange, Black Panther. I mean, there's
Bucky.
Bucky.
Again.
Like the second
Yeah,
time.
he's gone.
Bucky dies a lot.
So I'm hoping the end of this movie is not, the weight of it is not spoiled by what happens in the next one. I hope they come up with a really cool way, as you're saying, maybe lap it back around or whatever.
Right. All the people that survived are dead. All the people that are dead survived.
But this is a really grim end of the movie.
My wife was angry.
There was no
she
hope
was
at the end.
Like yelling at the credits.
ends-
I hate you. I hate you too. I hate you.
And it ends really like that happens, and there's not a lot left over after that. You know what I mean? Like it happens at the end, and then Thanos goes in the retirement at his cabin,
There's a post-credit sequence, but
and then there's a post-credit sequence that takes you back into the movie a little bit. But
And speaking of the post-credit sequence, where's Nick Fury been? He's been
never
in the
know
last
where
few
Nick
movies,
Fury
right?
is.
And okay, Captain Marvel, please explain to me. They've said she might be the most powerful. What's the head of Marvel's name? Kevin Feige, right? Has said she's going to be the most powerful person we've ever put into the MCU in the movies.
yes.
Okay.
True.
I mean, okay, so and I love the whole pager thing because I guess
you
she's
gotta
gonna
be super secret.
She's gonna be from 1990s or whatever and stuff, but
Got to be super secret. You can't be on the beepers and landlines is the only way Captain Marvel responds to people.
we're almost out of time. So okay, last question: how is this an Avengers movie when the three by far the best characters in the entire film were Thanos,
Villain,
and then Thor and Doctor Strange to me were the ones I was like, yeah, they're here. They're gonna, the Avengers just kind of were there doing their thing, but
I thought
Thor has become really good lately.
Yeah, well, yes.
When they took Ragnarok into like a Thor
and Doctor Strange
buddy comedy.
and the Doctor Strange Thanos fight was by far one of the highlights of the entire movie for me. The whole battle and the shifting around.
I love the fact that he has that prediction. I see one way, and then this is the only way.
And he gives up the time. Yeah, that was kind of unforeseen that he gave up the time stone in that fashion and said, "This is the only way, Tony, to save Tony's life."
Right.
Well, that's all the time we have on this edition of
We'll
Inside
probably
Movie.
never talk about
we
this
can
movie
pick this
ever
up.
again.
Maybe we'll pick this up again next week. And there's more threads to talk about.
Yeah, way.
On the next edition of Inside Media Weekly. Thanks for joining us.